Guys, I'm Mark Walters. I'm sitting here with the creative minds behind Being Elmo. We've got James Miller, director of photography. We've got Constance Marks, the director of the film, the co-director of the film, Philip Shane, and the man himself, Kevin Clash, right here. And
I love your T-shirt.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Well, you know,
Pixar,
and the button completes the whole package. So I've really been looking forward to this, honestly.
No, matter of fact, we're excited. I mean, we could probably tell Connie, we were invited to Pixar to for the creative group to screen the movie too. So we're going to be going out there to
invited us
to meet Lassiter. So I'm
Steal
excited
as
about
much
that.
as you can from that.
Oh,
place.
please.
If I was in
Please.
there, honestly, it'd be like a shopping spree.
Listen, you'll see it on the news.
Yeah.
You'll definitely see
Swag,
it.
like the swag.
So now you guys took this to Sundance and had this really phenomenal reaction. I mean, obviously that's got to be very gratifying. And Kevin, I mean, it's a lot of hard work over many years. Where did the influence come from to put this thing together? Like, when did it start, and what made you decide we got to make a documentary about Elmo?
James, you start.
Oh, well,
No pressure.
no, the way it started
Well,
is
because it started with James.
It's James's fault.
No, I worked on the set of Sesame Street as a cameraman, as a freelancer, and I took a video home for Connie to see it. And it was a video of a brag book of our infant daughter Sophia, and there's Elmo and me going through this picture book, and I brought it home to Connie, and Connie said, "Well, this is unbelievable. Who's this puppeteer that did this for you?" And I said, "Well, that's Kevin. I mean, he's a tour de force at Sesame Street." And she said, "I got to meet him." And next thing you know, they're having lunch together, talking about Kevin talking about his life and stuff. And
It was funny because it's not like I didn't know who Elmo was. I'm Elmo's biggest fan, but I never took the next step. Who is that person behind Elmo until this happened? And that was the impetus to do this.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of thinks, like especially when it comes to Sesame Street or the Muppets, immediately there's the thought of Jim Henson, but they don't think about the individual people that actually create those characters and bring them to life, especially the puppeteers, like you said. Was there a lot of difficulty putting it together in terms of rights issues and whatnot? Because I would think that there would be probably a lot of strictness behind that.
Every Sesame was fantastic. It was an open door policy. There were very few things we couldn't do. I really can't think of any. It was really wonderful working with them. There were no problems at all.
Yeah. What's it like seeing the reactions? And I mean, Kevin, obviously you've seen so many the faces of kids and families and people, and like there's this great video online of you with the pregnant woman from Sundance that I've watched it probably a dozen times, and it almost chokes me up every time I see it. I mean, does it ever get tiring seeing those kinds of reactions?
No, and everybody asks me, and people ask, does it get tired performing Elmo, or Carol Spinney, who performs Big Bird, and Oscar get that, and it never does. It's a show that's been a staple for all of us growing up, and we love it, and we have such a great time performing on it, and it's wonderful to go out and meet and greet the audience and stuff too, and that's what I love about puppetry. It's immediate. It's not like a cell animation or CGI where you can have the character come out, but it's not necessarily the character that you see on screen or on TV.
Right.
But you do get that, with the Muppets, and that's what I get so excited about, because we become flies on the wall because the kids don't know us, they don't care to know us. We're somebody who's carrying their friend around, and so it's wonderful to sit and have a conversation with a child, not looking at me but looking at Elmo and having a wonderful conversation. It's really fun, and it can be very interesting sometimes too. So that's excitement about all of it. It's never a dull moment.
Well, and there's that tangibility there too, because I was just talking with the creators of The Illusionist about how nowadays with CGI films, you're losing a lot of the creative process, because the hand-drawn animation's going away. And to me, like puppeteering that I grew up with the Muppets. I love the Muppets, and so when I see CGI films, it seems like there's really not a lot of soul there. There's not a lot of tangibility to it.
Well, I think all of it has its own medium, and I mean, I love Pixar and what they're doing, and their characters. I mean, to have something that comes out once and you don't know these characters, you're not familiar with them, like The Incredibles. And every single one of those characters you connect to and you have some feeling about. And so now you want to get into the story. You want to understand it, that they are brilliant at that. And that other companies have challenges with. And so I feel as though all of it works. It's just that I don't want one to go away because another one is more popular. That's what I feel.
Yeah. What's the hardest part about being Elmo?
I think the challenges of having a family, having a child, not being able to be around, and you probably would hear that with any celebrity that's successful in what they do, or sports or anything, where they have to go away from their family. That's the challenge, and that's for me, that's really the main challenge. I think everything else is you can get through.
Yeah.
And
what was the most interesting thing that Philip and Constance, what was the most interesting thing you guys saw as you were putting this together? What was the one moment that really stood out to you as just the most fascinating moment, I guess?
Oh gosh, there's so many. One of the most amazing parts of the film for me is there's Kevin travels the world training puppeteers, and there's a whole section that our editor Justin Weinstein cut about France, training the puppeteers in France. And James's photography in this, and it's just phenomenal that we get in and we see Kevin's hand, just Kevin's hand, no puppet on it, just the hand, and it comes alive. And then he teaches another puppeteer how to kind of get better. And then you see it evolve from this one-on-one training to you have to do it in front of a monitor, right? And everything's backwards. That's just unbelievable.
I just feel as though it's a whole nother documentary, that whole experience of internationally, then taking it from what we've learned from Jim and then taking it to all these different countries in their languages and what they want to teach their children, with Sesame.
Yeah.
So because they took one aspect of Paris, but I've done it. And they had the footage, but you can't put every single one because it would be like I said, it'd be a whole nother documentary. But it's amazing the universal appeal of the Muppets around the world, and in some countries who've never even seen it and get blown away, and being a part of that and giving that to these countries have been a lot of fun too. To saying this is Jim Henson, this is what he's done for us.
Well, see, Kevin is so humble because you do give due, and this is what I think a lot of people are seeing in the film, coming away from the film, saying that you're so humble. There is a lot there, but the magic that just comes from here's a piece of fabric, and you see other people do it, and it's it's not the same. Kevin puts it on and puts the puppet on, and it's alive.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and that's what
I think what Phil was saying also about Kevin's hand, you see his hand, and it doesn't look like anybody else's hand there. And people come out of the theater, and you see them trying to do it, and it's a gift. It looks easy, like Fran Brill says, it looks easy, but
and that's what I'm saying.
You can see it's not.
It's such a part of what we do that I wanted to show, but not get in the way of the illusion or the showing something that you shouldn't show. If you sat and you watched if you watched Kermit the Frog's face, there's no mechanisms on it.
Yeah.
But the expressions that Jim can portray just with his hands is amazing, and that's of course what I learned from watching him too. So
There's a really great moment that I remember from when Jon Stewart on The Daily Show had Kermit the Frog, and he was talking to Kermit the Frog, and at one point he just stops and he says, "Why am I talking to you?" But it's like he's realizing that he is having a conversation with something that is not real,
Sure.
but there's that reality to it. And I would imagine that that's really the truest form of the art, is bringing that to life in such a way to where people forget
Sure.
that you're there. And I mean,
Well, I remember
to me, there's a perfection there.
I was at the Peabody Awards recently. We had won one. Sesame Street had won one, and they wanted me to go up on the stage with the CEO Gary Nell and Terry Fitzpatrick, who's another big wig at Sesame. And I got up there with the puppet on, and I was hardly doing anything. And here is the CEO, yes, and this is what we're doing, and everybody's laughing, because I'm just slightly keeping the character alive. And then he's like, oh, I should have known. And then I put Elmo behind Terry, and it just made it even more. It just kept happening and happening and happening. But that's what happens with creating this character. I mean, they become such icons, that it's amazing to us.
Yeah.
I think it's a challenging job from what I can see, but when it clicks is when your puppet is getting interviewed by a press person, okay, and it clicks is when the press person takes his microphone and then
Puts it in front of the puppet.
in front of the puppet, for the answer of the question, and it's like, yes, you got it,
I know we need to wrap up, but the last thing I want to ask you is that it seems like a lot of people are asking, online at least, where can they see Being Elmo? So where do we stand in terms of the distribution of it? Is it going to come out? When is it going to come out and all that? And tell people where, I heard you're going to Dallas International Film Festival next, so.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that yet, but
Okay.
yes, we are.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
don't know, because
I
he
can
said-
cut that if I
I
have
don't
to.
know, I just don't know. You can call them and find out. But
Yeah.
yeah. But we're going to be going to a number of festivals. If you go to our website, beingelmo.com, everything's current there. And we have a lot of people calling us, talking about how we're going to bring it forth into the world properly, and it's very exciting. That's all I'm going to say right now. I just can't make any formal announcements, but
And
it's
visit
good.
us on Facebook as well, and Twitter.
Yeah, we'll put up links to all that stuff. Thank
Cool.
you so much, guys.
Thank
for bringing
you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you very much.